Welcome into your tiny reading for this week. I am T from Tiny Divinations, here to break down the cards with you. Before we get into our reading, follow the channel if you aren't already. Send this message to someone who may need it. And for those of you who don't already know, I am having a summer reading sale. My 75-minute reading is on sale for 40% off. It is a live reading. So if you'd like to book with me, book at wildheartbotanica.com. You'll see the savings when you put the reading into your cart. As usual, we have 3 different piles. Pick the pile or piles that you are drawn to, or you can pick a number between 1 and 10, and the number that corresponds with each pile will appear now. I'll see you in your reading. Welcome in pile 1. Let's get into your card. So the first card that you have for the energy of your week is strong. Strong in words, strong in action. So the face was the first thing that I actually zoned in on with this card. It looks determined. It doesn't necessarily look happy or sad. It just looks kind of like ready. There is a tinge of, I guess, happiness you could kind of see there, and contentment for real. It looks like more than happiness. The strong in words and action made me just feel very much like part of the energy of your week is about authority. It's about knowing what you want and owning that. It's about walking in what you want, like walking it like you talk it. It's about being strong with your responses and in terms of you know very deliberately saying no or very actionably saying yes. So all of these things kind of came up when I first looked at the card. Let's see what questions are on the back. Where do you get your strength from? And since we're doing a weekly reading, I would especially look at that in terms of the things that you might have going on this week. In what ways do you show that you are strong? To me, there are ways in which this week you're going to have to show that you're strong. So, like I said, owning your authority, making decisions, being vocal about what you want to do and what you don't want to do, your boundaries, being vocal about what you need other people to do, things like that. How has being strong helped you in your life so far? And what ways can you bring that into your week? Affirmation: I'm strong in mind, body, and soul. I connect to all around me with strength and wisdom. I'm solid as a rock. Okay, so try to keep as solid as you can be this week in whatever ways you're being asked to, or however that means for you. Okay, let's see what other energies we have going on this week for y'all. Oh, I kind of came out with my finger. Lonely. I feel so alone. Okay. And that looks still interestingly, like I said, with the first card, it wasn't necessarily happy or sad. It looked a little bit more towards happy and contentment. This looks a little bit more towards sadness, more pensive than sadness to me, though. More like unsure in terms of the look of the face. Um, yeah, it feels like if you are feeling lonely this week, you don't necessarily want to. It feels like you may not be sure why you are feeling alone, and or you're not sure why like people aren't around, or like you feel disconnected from people. That may also be a thing. Let's see the questions. How did you get to this point? And I would ask myself, like, in what ways do you feel lonely? I feel lonely because I can't this, or I don't that, or this or that. Like, really name it, be very specific. Is there anyone in your life that you can talk to or get support from? Because we have this question again, it would lend to me the energy of, if you are feeling lonely, and there are people that you can reach out to, are you reaching out to them? Do you feel comfortable? Are you feeling like you need to handle everything yourself? Is that actually helping you? Are there people that you feel like you could talk to that wouldn't judge you, or that would be able to take you out of your head and give you better solutions or something like that? Like, this is what I would kind of sit with this week. What could you do to help yourself other than asking for help, other than, reaching out and talking to somebody? What are some ways that you can feel a part of something without um, having to feel like you're in community with people that you don't necessarily want to be in? So, for example, if you are feeling lonely, but you're not sure if you want to be around certain people, or you're having anxiety about being, um, you know, in specific spaces or something like that, is there anywhere that you could be where there are other people that you don't necessarily have to interact with, but that you could still feel in company with in a way? So, like, what I'm thinking of in my head is almost like I used to have bad insomnia, especially in the summertime. And so back in the day before pre-COVID, right, we had super Walmarts, and them shits were open 24 hours. Now, I live in, a part of America where that's not a thing anymore. I don't know if it still is anywhere. I would imagine maybe in the South. Y'all are lucky enough, but not here anymore. So, but back in the day when there was 24-hour Walmarts and I had insomnia, I could get up and go to Walmart at 2:30 in the morning, and there were at least 45, 50 other people there. Now, granted, I didn't know those people, but they were up and I was up, and it made me feel like I wasn't the only one. It made me feel comfortable. And so I would walk around Walmart. And so that's like kind of what I'm talking about in terms of the example that I was trying to get to. But yeah, affirmation. I am an important part of the human race and look forward to connecting with others. So, again, outside of being lonely, there may be people this week who are going to be networking. You may be getting back in contact with people. People may be trying to get back in contact with you. There may be opportunities for you this week in building community and building new friendships and forming relationships with people. And like I said before, reaching out to people that you're already in community with and like reforming that bond, or initiating some kind of group or something like that. I literally just talked to some of my friends about doing a book club. My cousin suggested it. I had thought about it a couple months ago and we just never did anything. So she was like, let's get back on that. So that's a thing that definitely happened for me this week. I'm already in the reading. Okay. But it's for me too, as usual. But that is a thing. So definitely look into being around other people, forming community, looking into how you may want to lead in that way, because we have that strong card as well. So yeah, those are a few things that come up with that. Let's see if there are any other cards for the energy of your week. We have relaxed, free from strain and tension. And this, I really like this face. It looks relaxed. Ask yourself, what are the benefits of relaxation? Are you giving yourself the benefits of relaxation? When's the last time you felt relaxed? Do you feel like you can relax? These are all things that I would ask myself. If there are ways in which you can relax this week, I would definitely schedule them, book that, do that, make time for. How do you calm yourself down? In moments where you are being riled up or shit is overwhelming and things like that, the answer to how you calm yourself down is what you need to implement in those moments if you can. If those are things that you can't in certain moments, then we have to come up with more things so that we can have more flexibility in the ways in which we're able to calm ourselves, especially in this time. As of when I'm recording this, even though it's a timeless reading, we are in Mercury retrograde season. And so this specific with Mercury in Cancer seems like super emotional, okay? Very reactive, very frustrating. And so, how you are able to calm yourself is important. If you visualize yourself in a calm space, where would you be? Affirmation: I am calm and relaxed. I release stress and welcome peace and serenity. Okay. So this is what I'm getting for the energy of your week, y'all. Let's move on to some specific things that may happen. Okay, so to get the specific things that may happen this week, I'm going to pull some charms and I may pull some cards. So I'm going to shake my charm bowl. If you have not heard me do this before, it is a little loud. I apologize in advance. Okay, I'm going to stick my hand in. Okay. Okay, so the charms we have are the Strength card, Charm, the Sun charm. We have a Witch's hat. We have a Footprint, the Libra scale, an eye, a Love potion bottle, a strawberry, an Ankh, the bee, and a teapot. Okay, so we have the Strength card, Charm, the Sun card, Charm, a Witch's hat, a Footprint, the Libra scale charm, a teapot, a bee, an ankh, a strawberry, a love potion bottle, and an eye. So, in terms of some specific things that may happen this week, the first thing that caught my eye were the love potion bottle and the teacup or the teapot and the strawberry. It seems to me that what you're eating this week definitely affects your energy, your mood. There may be teas or tinctures that you are taking, wanting to take. You may have started taking bitters. You may have started like eating healthy or making smoothies or juices this week or something like that. There may be something to that if you haven't already. To doing that to add to what you want to feel or the things and the benefits that you're trying to get this week, whether that's physically or like spiritual benefits that you're trying to get and making things that enhance that. There's also something to like speaking over your food or your drinks, speaking into them like incantations. You may be somebody who does workings as well. So there may be a working that you want to do that you like spell bind something like um I don't know. At first I heard spell like spell bind your water bottle. I don't know. That's a thing. Um but also like I said, if you're doing some kind of workings, you may want to use food for it or put something into your food. It's given spaghetti energy in some cases, if you feel what I'm saying. But it's not like literally that. It's just it's like putting energy into your food. There was this movie a long time ago. I'm showing my age. I don't even remember the name of it. Sarah Michelle Gellar was in it. She was a baker. It was one of my favorite movies. She was a baker and she was a witch, and she didn't know she was a witch. But when she baked, she would put like energy into what she baked. And that's kind of the energy that I'm getting from that. I'm not going to go further into that. If you know that movie, though, you are my people. Anyway, let's move on. So, the next thing I thought of, the sun card, the witch, and the barefoot was made me feel very much like freedom. It felt like witches, like seeing witches outside in a movie, like naked dancing in a circle kind of energy. You know what I mean? Um, not that that's literally what you may be doing, but it may be what you're doing. Shit, like I don't know. Enjoy that if you do, you know. But what I'm saying is the energy it's giving free. It's giving doing what I want. It's giving like barefoot fancy free is what I heard in my head when I saw this. It felt like being barefoot in your garden or being barefoot on the beach or like being barefoot dancing out in the rain or like the energy of like what that would make you feel and just feeling like free and like you can do whatever you want and happy and one with earth and nature or like yourself and like that kind of hippie-ish energy that these three cards were giving, or these charms, excuse me, these three charms were giving. So that is also part of the energy in terms of specific things that may happen this week. You may just feel that way. You may want to do things that feel that way. You may have energy to do whatever the fuck you want. You may have time to do whatever the fuck you want this week. And so that's a thing. It may be that you are more, some people may literally be on vacation. It may be that you're able to more easily transmute the things that happen into your week with ease. And so you have more of that relaxed energy that we had in your energy cards, and that strength coming from your own power to be able to transmute it. So that's a thing. It may be with some of the workings that we're doing this week. So like that's kind of what came up to me. It feels like specifically, if we're going somewhere this week, then it's somewhere that's either like going to transform something in us, something, somewhere that feels magical, somewhere where we can relax, like I said, feel free, um, and draw some kind of power to us as well, or feel more powerful or confident about ourselves as well. We have the strength charm, and we had the strong card to start off with. So I think they again speak to you being very in line with yourself, very determined, very amiable in what you want to do, and direct in what you want to do and what you think, and what you feel. Also, the strength coming from your movements, and like soft strength as well as like power, not necessarily just brute strength kind of thing. With the eye next to the strength card, another part of your strength this week is, it feels like having vision, being able to see beyond what's in front of you right now, being able to predict things, being able to use your intuition, and move in kind based off your intuition this week, and having that like move things for you or allow things to happen for you, as opposed to you feeling like you have to make everything happen in a certain way. Like just being able to kind of feel into something and see, what could happen, what's the energies of that, what you should best do, what other people should best do, what's the move kind of energy. The bee and the ankh together for some reason made me think of Bianca. I don't know who that is. I don't know Bianca. If you know Bianca, that might be a thing, right? um I don't know. It literally, I said Ankh B, and then I was like, Bianca? Oh, that's it. I don't know. But that's what came up to me also. And the strawberry and the love potion, as well as the heart on the teapot, also makes me think there's like lovey energy, that people are falling for people in some cases, that you're kind of like drinking the Kool-Aid with somebody is showing you, or who they're showing you. You're kind of like drinking it in. You kind of like what you're seeing, kind of energy. And I feel like that as well as the Libra, or with the Libra charm, excuse me. But the Libra charm also, like I said before, with the balance of the relaxed and the free, it feels like it's bringing a balanced energy of just happy, relaxed, free, ease. Everything is kind of in alignment. You're in alignment. It could also be that you're in partnership or dealing with somebody else, and like I said, that things are going well. Um, or that somebody feels like somebody else is like really doing what they want them to do, or like really in alignment with them specifically. Like it's like, they're just doing everything, or they're just listening, or they're just like completely acting the way that you want them to in a way. So that's a thing for some people too. So these are some of the specific things I think that are going to come up for us this week. Let's wrap your reading up with some words of wisdom. Before we get into your words of wisdom, I just thought of with the Ankh and the bee as well. It was like be life. Um, and it made me think of part of the specific things you're supposed to be doing this week is kind of like living more, doing whatever that means to live more, not just to work, not just to responsibility, not just to parent, not just to adult, but to actually live, feel like you're living. Okay, so let's get y'all some words of wisdom. The higher self. Stop longing, still your mind, and allow your higher self to use its infinite resources to comfort and guide you to the fulfillment of your desires. The card you have on the bottom is the Resolute. If you do not resolve to be patient and endure tough times, success may appear to you to always be in the future or in another's power. Okay. So those are our words of wisdom for this week, Group 1. And this was your reading. So thank you so much for reading with me. Please let me know how your week is, what's going on this week. If you would like your own personal reading, like I said before, you can book with me at wildheartbotanical.com. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Share this message with somebody who may need it. If you are already listening or following our podcast, follow Tiny Musings with T. You can listen to that podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. Our July part 1 is out right now. Part 2 will be out in a few days. And follow me on Instagram at Tiny Divination. So thank you again for being here with me. I appreciate y'all so much. If you have another pile or number, I will see you there. And if not, I will see you in our next reading. Welcome in Group 2. Let's get into your cards. So, the card you have for the energy of your week is Frustration. Frustration has turned me from a normally peaceful, loving person into an irrational one. This makes a lot of sense. Now, this is a timeless reading, and if you are watching this as in when I'm recording it, we are currently in Mercury retrograde. So it makes total sense that there are some frustrations for you this week. We talk about this a lot in the July part 1 episode, and I have a retrograde reading that you may also want to take a look at. So just saying. Okay. Part of what we have this week is definitely frustrations. People making you mad, situations making you mad, things that are out of your control, little things sending you over the edge, your reactions to things being big, being compounded. You may be blowing up on other people. You may be cussing people out. You may be cussing yourself out. You may be breaking things. Things may be going wrong. You may just be at your wit's end. Like there's a number of things that could be happening with this. We have the furrowed eyebrows. So it's just like, what the fuck is kind of the energy that comes with this. In terms of the questions we have, what is the cause of your frustration? There can be many causes of your frustrations. We'll get into some of those and your specifics, I'm sure. So yeah, there can be a number of things. What part are you playing in this situation? Now, because you have frustration, this is not the first thing that you think of when something happens. Okay, and or it's the very first thing that you think of when something happens, and you immediately get frustrated with yourself, and that's where we stop. And either way, um, you know, we have to either sit with this if we don't, or we can't just stop there if we do. Do you like the view you have of yourself? I'd also ask myself, is it accurate? Is it accurate, or is it just based on the emotions that I'm feeling right now? How can you do things differently from now on? And this is a question you're going to ask yourself, I feel like, moment to moment this week. There are ways in which you're going to act that you don't necessarily want to, or you feel like you wish you would have been able to take back, you know? But if you stop and think first, then there may be ways then the next time you can act differently, right? In the next iteration of whatever happens, you stop and think, you remind yourself how you can act differently, and then you do. Okay. Affirmation: I rise above the frustrations in my life through love, hope, and a good sense of humor. And you need all of that this week. Okay. Love, hope, and a good sense of humor. You need to temper your reactions. You need to recognize what's actually causing you frustrations. Okay. And if you are playing a part, or if you're adding into it in any way, and how you can change that. Because This is not the best version of us this week. Okay. Let's see what other energies we got going on. So we have valued. I am important, valued. And then in the middle, on the end, excuse me, we have helpless, weak, empty, and vulnerable, beyond help. Okay, so because we have the value card in the middle, I feel like there are ways in which you're going to have to remind yourself that you're important this week, that you are going to have to build yourself up, that you are going to have to, um, yeah, like build yourself up to remain confident as you're persevering, to not get lost in your frustrations or feel overwhelmed by helplessness, and that you have to remind yourself who you are and what you've been through and what you've overcome and what you've um, learned and created and made and things like that. Because part of why we may have frustrations is because things may happen that are out of our control. Okay, especially with this helpless card, there may be things that we can't do anything to change. There may be things that happen that we can't take back, you know, and that may be part of why we feel helpless. So let's get into the questions with this card first. Can you think of a time when you overcame a challenge? So again, as the question is saying, I said as well, it's going to be a week of reminding yourself in spaces or cases that you've done this before, or you've overcome worse, or that you're strong because of this or that, and these are things that you may have to remind yourself because, like I said, things happen that you can't control or you can't change, so you have to remember when you were in this position before, and that this too shall pass. How did you do it? What motivated you? These may be the same motivations that help you in this week or whatever situation is specifically happening to carry you through that. What can you learn about yourself from this, and how can this help you to make real positive changes for yourself? So that's the second time it asked you a question about what you can do, right? How can you learn from this? It asked us this in the frustration or frustrated card. So there's something to be learned this week. There's some lesson. There's some gem to pick up. There's some jewel to have. There's some way in which you're supposed to get over a hump this week with this energy. That there's some kind of breakthrough that you can have. There's an aha moment. There is a way in which you can like celebrate a win because you didn't react in the ways that you might have normally, or this didn't get you, or something like that. So like that's definitely a thing because it comes up twice. Affirmation: I'm strong. I fight my own battles. I will grow from this experience. And then we have valued in the middle. What do you value? And what ways are you proud of yourself and your achievements? What are your strengths and your talents? And I think all of this is important because all of these things that it's asking are energies in which you're going to have to sit in to get through the worst of this week. Affirmation: I love and accept myself completely for being me. I am a perfect human being. Okay, so this is the energy that we have for this week, group two. Let's move into some specific things that may happen. Okay, so to get the specific things that may be going on this week, we are going to get some charms. If you've been here before with my charms, I shake, it's a little loud. I close my eyes, I put my hand in, and I pull. So I apologize for the noise in advance. gonna pull a few cards. Okay. So the cards that I had fall are karmics, third parties, haters, lessons learned, waves, emotions, worry, fear, and epiphany, self reflection, answered questions, untapped talents. So the charms we have are a sun with some clouds, the sun charm, the zodiac die with the Virgo symbol on top, a witch's hat, an eye, and a key. So, part of what we're dealing with this week is some ups and downs. We have the sun card and the sun, but then we have a little bit of clouds. So, I'd say there's more ups than downs, but there's a little bit of um, clouds within there, right? With both suns, I also feel like we're uncovering some things, especially because we have the karmics card with the third parties, haters, lessons learned, and epiphany, self reflection, unanswered questions, untapped talents. So I think we're discovering some things about ourselves. We're discovering things about people we may be dealing with. We may be discovering some things about situations. We may be discovering some things about um, things we didn't know were happening behind the scenes, that people may be doing that may be trying to undermine us, things that we may not expect. We may also have a spotlight pushed on us this week because we have the sun cards and the epiphany with the untapped talents. There may be something to like a spotlight on some kind of skill that you're doing. It may also be a spotlight on work because we have the Virgo symbol. Um, that also made me think of paying attention while you're at work. There may be a highlight of what you're doing well as what you may not be doing well. Like there may be eyes on you, people may be watching. Some of those people may not have the best intentions. So just make sure you're doing everything to the best of your ability. Make sure you're checking things, make sure you're paying attention, make sure you're not slipping in moments, when people are trying to catch you. You feel me? You get it. So, also, there may be a focus on like your responsibilities. There may be a larger focus on, like I said, your skills, what you're learning, um, classes, going to school, reports specifically, things you're doing with data this week. Also, again, there may be eyes on those things, or you may need to put extra eyes or get extra eyes to look at those things just to make sure that like everything is good. The things that you're working on this week may unlock opportunities for you. In general, there may be opportunities that are coming to you this week. There may be doors for you to unlock. There may be potential things for you to create, for you to do. You want to keep an eye out for opportunities. You want to intuitively be able to know what you should do and what you shouldn't do. That also may come in with the lessons learned. There's also something to unlocking the unanswered questions or things that you may have revelations about this week that come up for you. We also have the witch's hat, and the witch's hat made me think of um, utilizing your personal power, of which has their capabilities, they have their knowledge, and they use themselves as the conduit and their tools to get done whatever they need done. And so there's very much a focus on you this week and what you can do, what you want to do, what you're trying to do, and really being like focused and kind of like confident and direct, like direct in your power and where you're directing your power and things like that. So that's what I'm getting from your charms and the cards. And then we had emotions, which we had all the emotions that we were feeling before, the frustrated, the helplessness. And so that's some of what comes up to me with this emotions card, and there being waves of that. But again, we had the sun charms and the reflections, and so it doesn't have to be emotions for no reasons. If we actually sit in and dig into what we're feeling, what's coming up, then we can get some of these answers or lessons or highlight some of the things that can actually help us. So that's what I'm getting from the specific things that may happen this week. Let's wrap your reading up with some words of wisdom. Okay, so getting some words of wisdom. We have the critic and the worrier. The critic. Constructive criticism, when asked for, is a gift between friends, but perfectionism over analysis and pickiness do more harm than good. The worrier. Know that you have the power to defeat negative thinking. Learn to understand and cope with your greatest enemy, your own fear. So, these are your words of wisdom for this week. And this was your reading for this week, y'all. So, thank you so much for reading with me. Let me know how your week is. Definitely let me know what goes on. If you'd like your own personal reading, like I said before, I'm having a summer sale on my live reading. So you can book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. You will see the savings when you put the reading in the cart. Follow the channel, share the message with somebody who may need it. Follow the podcast, Tiny Musings with T. Our July episode is out right now. The second part is coming out in a few days. You can listen wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow me on Instagram at Tiny Divinations. And again, thank you so much for being here, for reading with me. And if you have another pile or picked another number, I will see you there. If not, I will see you in our next reading. Welcome in group 3. Let's get into your cards. So, the card you chose for the energy of your week is confident. I am who I am, comfortable in my own skin. So, number one, we have the confident energy that comes with this card. We have contentment in what seems like the person's face. They feel happy. They feel like I said, content. It also feels like with the I am who I am that like things kind of are what they are. We're accepting things as they are. We're good with what is happening. Even if we're not good with what's happening, we know that the best is going to happen for us or that the best is happening for us. We're confident in either our situations and ourselves and our skills and what we've placed around us and the things that are to come and the people that we're dealing with. So, this is all of what I get from this card. Let's see what the questions are on the back. What does confidence mean to you? And what areas of your life are you most confident? How did you come to this point? And there may be some areas that you feel more confident than others. There may be areas, if you actually sit with this question, that you may recognize that you're more confident in than you realize that you were. And being more confident, maybe what's being asked of you this week if you don't feel confident in the ways in which I talked about it initially. What advice could you offer others on confidence? So, like, what ways could you support other people? What ways is your confidence helping to exude onto what you're doing, onto your work, into your creativity, into the spaces that you're in, into the other people? How are other people that are around you helping to build your confidence? Things like that. Affirmation. I totally and fully believe in myself. I am strong and powerful. I am confident. So those are definitely some things to sit with, some things to ask yourself, some things to build on if you're already feeling that way. But let's get some more cards to see a little bit more about the energy for your week. So we have forgiving. We all make mistakes. Strong in word and actions. And then popping out is happy. I smile, I laugh, I bounce. So overall, it feels like we're feeling good about the week. It feels like there's good energy throughout our week. It feels like if there are some things where there are some missteps or some mistakes or things like that that can be easily fixed, and or you're not sitting with them for too long because again you have the confidence, strong, happy. Like there are enough positive feelings around you, within you, that you are cultivating, that are happening, and or that you don't necessarily sit in what could be the shame of what you may encounter or may have done or whatever. Um, it feels light. The energy feels very light. It also feels like strong and powerful because we have strong and confident together. So it feels very authoritative. It feels like we're directing our energy in the right ways. It feels like we know what we want. It feels like we're telling people what we want and being very vocal about things. We're being very actionable about things. It feels like also, like I said, there's a lightness. So whatever we're doing either is making us feel good, and or we already feel good. So we're bringing that energy to what we're doing. That we're bringing that energy to people around us. It feels like we're taking ownership of things. We're taking like leadership and responsibility of things. We may be taking on extra tasks or being able to just like get things done or feel like more powerful in yourself this week or more capable within yourself this week. So like these are some of the things I'm getting from this as well. Let's get some of the questions. What does happiness mean to you? When was the last time you felt truly happy? What did it feel like? What can you do to bring more happiness into your life? Affirmation: I choose happiness and hold love and joy in my heart. And again, I feel like that is part of why we're able to get into the forgiving or have the forgiveness or more easily move to places of letting things go this week. How easy or hard is it to find forgiveness in your heart? Again, with the heart space. How will forgiveness help you? Number one, it'll definitely keep you light. It'll definitely keep you positive. It'll definitely help you continue to move in the direction towards what you want and less in um, like a different space in a sense, energetically. What do you need to forgive? And that could be with yourself. That could be within things that happen this week. That could be in things that pop up this week. Emotions, feelings, things that come back in. Affirmation: I can forgive and forget if I choose. Letting go will allow me to move towards acceptance of what is and faith in what will be. Okay. So again, I feel like this is all kind of in kind, and the strong card I feel like will have similar questions to the confidence, but where do you get your strength from? And what ways do you show that you are strong? And I feel like this is part of how you'll show up this week. This is part of what you'll see yourself do this week. How has being strong helped you in your life so far? And I'm sure there are many ways that you could think of if you actually really answer these questions. Affirmation: I am strong in mind, body, and soul. I connect to all around me with strength and wisdom. I am solid as a rock. Okay. So these are the cards that I get for the energies of our week this week. Like I said, it feels very light. It feels strong. It feels like y'all know what you're doing. It feels very capable. It feels bouncy. So very much harness this energy this week if you're not already feeling this. And if you are, try to emanate it in everything that you do. So let's move into some specific things that may happen this week. Okay, so moving on to some specific things that may happen this week, we are going to pull some charms. If you have pulled charms with me before, you know that it is a little loud. I shake the bowl, I close my eyes, I put my hand in, and I pull whatever charms are supposed to come out. So I apologize. It's a little loud. Bear with me. then I'm going to pull a few cards. Okay. Okay, so starting with our charms. Um, the first thing I noticed is I get the Remic coin. This is what I call this coin. It's supposed to be a Roman coin, but when I got these charms, Sinner's Head just came out, and so this reminds me of a Remic coin. So I got the Remic coin and the Fang together. That's what this is. Just a Fang togethers. So my first thought with the charms is be mindful of energetic vampires this week. Okay. Be mindful of people trying to suck your energy, people trying to be, you in a sense, people trying to um, take credit for your shit, people who don't really have the best intentions for you, trying to be all up in your shit. We also got the sipping card, gossip, nosy rumors. So be mindful of people having like ill intentions or being around you for the wrong reasons or trying to be up in your shit or asking other people about you. Or, like I said, trying to feed off of your energy in some way. Especially because we got both of these things together, right? And then even that with the black cat, it makes me think of um like bad luck energy, but I don't feel like y'all have bad luck because we have the energy cards from before. So this feels like like outside of you. It could be other people, right? This could also be somebody, if you feel like somebody is sending you weird shit, because we have a black cat and we have a fairy and then these things. If you feel like somebody is sending you weird energy, if you feel like you are like you need to do some work on yourself, you need to clear yourself, you need to clear the energy in your space, you need to do a reversal, you need to do a unhexing, you feel like you need to do anything like that, baby, do it. And I just heard a random bell like ding. um do it, do it, just do it. Ask for help, ask somebody who may know if you don't know, but do it if it's been on you to do it. Especially also we have the Leo, and I feel like Leos are very much protection queens. Okay, queens, kings, and them. Okay, so all of those together also gives me some of that energy. We have the Leo charm outside of all of this, which also makes me feel like charming energy. It feels like creativity. It feels like the spotlight. It feels like kind of star energy, but it's also very individual. And we have the antisocial card here in your feeling, silent treatment left out. So I don't necessarily feel like this all the way with the Leo. I feel like there are some people who will just be like in the spotlight this week or be like feeling very individualized or be like in their bag in terms of like your self individualization. And also there may be people who are feeling like I just need to kind of like separate myself from people so that I can feel my best, so that I can like uh be as confident in things as I can be, because maybe, like I said, you have people that are around you that are a little bit vampiric and you're already feeling that, or you're just not really feeling the energies of the people around you right now. Or, people around you may be a little bit messy and that's just not what you're trying to cultivate, or like whatever that energy is that you may feel here. This also may be because you have the Smell the Roses card, because you just need a fucking break from people. Like maybe you're just overwhelmed. Maybe you're overstimulated. Maybe you just want to be in your own goddamn energy, And so, and part of it may not be that you're like, um, something specific happened, or like people are mean or messy or anything, but it's just like I need a break. I just need to be by myself. I need to just recharge. I need to get away, or something like that. That could also be it. We then have this apology card, and arrogant, rash actions, insincere. And because we got the forgiveness card, I will say specifically for this week, if something comes up, maybe try not to hold on to it if it's not something that is detrimental to you, is something that you feel like is like catastrophic or things like that. You know what I mean? Sit with what happens and see if you are able to forgive them. Maybe you don't forget, maybe you don't interact with them the same way afterwards, but maybe it's worth accepting the apology that they give you and, just moving on and or separating yourself or something like that, but like not holding on to it will definitely bring a different energy. And then the last card we have here for specific things that may happen is glow up. And so, like I talked about with the Leo, I feel like there's a way in which people are spotlighted. We also have the fairy here. So it may be like wishes being granted and things like that. Something that you've been wanting to happen may happen this week. You may have something happens that like it's like a dream opportunity or like a dream situation or, something like that. Also, within this month, our July reading for this month on our Tiny Musings podcast, I talk about if things are too good to be true in part one. So just be mindful of that energy too and go listen to that if you haven't already. But yeah, and the black cat like also lends to kind of that antisocial energy, or that like different, you may feel different this week. Like I said earlier, you may be really sitting more into your individuality and like leaning more into that with like your hair, your fashions, your makeup, and something that you're doing, like some way that you're kind of like separating yourself from the pack in a sense. And then like I said before, we have the fairy, so there's also still that magical energy there, the um kind of mischievous energy in a sense as well. So like similar to um, the energy we were talking about with the vampire, it gives a little bit of trickster, and also the energy for like magical things to happen throughout this week. So this is what I'm getting for the specific things that may happen this week. Let's wrap your reading up with some words of wisdom. Okay. And ending your reading with some words of wisdom. Okay. So we have the free spirit and the peacemaker. Free spirit. You can only change yourself. Now is the time to unleash your free spirit, not try to blend in and be the same as everyone else. And then the peacemaker. It is time to make peace. You will get much farther on your path through kind acts and words than you will by forcing things or vengeance. I think these make total sense. We were just talking about a lot of these things, and so it wraps up our reading really perfectly. So these are your words of wisdom, y'all. And this was your reading for this week. So thank you so much for reading with me. I appreciate y'all for being here so much. Please let me know how your week is. Please let me know what happens this week. If you'd like your own personal reading, like I said in the beginning, I am having a summer sale. My live reading is 40% off. When you put it in the cart, you will see the discount. So book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. If you're not already, follow the channel, share this reading with somebody who needs a message. Follow and listen to our podcast, Tiny Musings with T. Our July collective reading is out right now. We talk about a lot of the things that we talked about this week and much more. And part two will be out in a couple of days. And follow me on Instagram at Tiny Divinations. Thank y'all again for being here. I appreciate you so, so much. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, I will see you in our next reading.